Hailing frequencies are open. Welcome back to the Last Excelsior, our Star Trek Adventures 2nd edition actual play here with the StreamPunks. We're back after a quick break. We hope you enjoyed your time in the Noirville-verse. We have now returned to the Star Trek verse here with StreamPunks in the middle of a big fight. We're going to get right into the game tonight, but before we do, we're just going to do a very quick round of announcements since we started a little bit late. Nothing really to announce my end, just to let everybody know that we are now into May, which means the newest issue of Stranger Things, The Rise of Hellfire, will be coming out this month. So we hope you've been enjoying my first big comic book that I wrote with Dark Horse Comics and Jody Hauser. That has been coming out and it's doing pretty well. So if you want to see the backstory on Eddie Mudson, it was a joy to write Eddie. So I hope you guys enjoy it. Only other thing I have to add tonight, and it just reminds me because it's sitting right here. If you feel so inclined to head over to mycherrytree.com and buy yourself this snazzy Star Trek mug to pour your Racticino in, don't forget to use the code 16BitEric6 to get 6% off. Don't walk, run! Unless, you're a roller, and then in which case just roll. Yeah. All right. Anybody else have anything to say?
I can go ahead. I have my podcast. We premiered last week on Tuesday, Sacred Machinations. I'm going to have episode 2 coming out. I say today because it's today for me, but tomorrow for all of you on Tuesday. It's going to be a weekly thing every Tuesday, so you can check out there if you want to hear very queer, very toxic relationships going on between mech pilots and godhood and divinity meeting mechs and Gundams. If you like that kind of stuff, check it out.
You play all the games I want to the coolest games. All right. Thank you, Jack. Anybody else got anything?
Yep. Just really quickly. Tomorrow we are premiering the 2nd episode of Pull List called Crash and Burn. We're introducing you to 2 new characters. Crash, which if they had like an Incredible Hulk, it would be Death's chess piece. And our friend Castor, another speedster in the Noirville universe. So go ahead and check that out tomorrow. Thank you all so much for the support. I've got a couple of messages to send out to the 3 folks last week that picked up some merch from us. Thank you so much. Again, every little bit helps. And we've got new artwork on the way. Promise. Okay, that's it. Oh, and also, happy Revenge of the 5th to you all.
All right. Thank you, Noir. Anybody else have anything they'd like to announce? Yeah, Caitlin.
I played GeoGuessr, and you should go watch my VODs on YouTube. They're very fun. I have a great time. New one coming up probably tomorrow. The one from yesterday, I had a lot of stuff to do today, so I'll get that one up probably later this week. Thanks for watching, everybody who's been tuning in. It's been everyone's been very nice about it.
Sweet. All right. Anybody else before we jump into tonight's game? Are we good? There's only one person left. Got anything?
There's been too much bipedalism already.
All right. Well, we'll probably solve that issue tonight. Let's go ahead and jump into tonight's episode of The Last Excelsior.
Yeah, get
Welcome back, everybody. We are jumping right back into our combat round. We're going to head to keep this cleaned for both viewers and crew. So we're going to just keep this going at the start of a brand new combat round. When we last left off, the Jem'Hadar attempted to use their rather advanced technology to circumvent the shields on the USS Pride and beam directly onto the bridge. Now, if you had got a chance to see the VOD yet, what resulted in a sudden bridge assault, a boarding action, which almost led to a point-blank shot from a Polaron rifle against our helmswoman, actually was nullified by the strategic mastery of the captain, who knew the Jem'Hadar, knew the BS that they got up to, and had already planned in advance because had known their tactics from working in the strategic command at Starfleet Starbase 1 during the Dominion War. You knew what you were up against the moment you saw them. So their attempt to board the Pride failed. We are now moving combat over into the PCs. So we're going to start the fresh combat round right at the top. Players go first. It is y'all's action. Right now, you have a Jem'Hadar attack vessel that is closed into close range and currently is about technically almost dead ahead. It's just fine off the starboard bow. They just came right at you guys at full speed. They haven't opened fired yet. They attempted the boarding action. It's now y'all's turn. It's starting to really dawn on the crew what it is they're up against. Some of the crew having battled with the Jem'Hadar during the Dominion War. But real quick question for you, Noir. Jaren was back at Starbase 1. Working strategy, tactics, and coordinating with intelligence. Did you ever stand on the front line, or were you ever in combat against the Jem'Hadar?
He petitioned for it. He begged for it. They would not let him do it.
Be careful what you wish for.
Yeah, be careful what you wish for.
Yeah. Also, continue painting the picture. Just to remind everybody, what a lot of folks currently don't know, save for perhaps Cadence, who is out there flying around right now and desperately zooming in to catch up on what's going on. Also keeping in mind that Griffin Wing has launched and is out of the hangar at the moment. There is also the fact that right now on board this Jem'Hadar attack ship is your chief of security, your tactical officer, your chief tactical officer. So there is a rescue operation that is currently underway on the Jem'Hadar attack vessel itself. So Taveen, you are currently looking dead ahead at this view screen. Actually, you guys can decide who wants to take the action here, because we've already pitched it back to y'all. So whoever you want to go first can take the action.
I think we'll go Taeon, right? Like
we can do Taeon first if we want to do that, because Taeon's currently on board the Jem'Hadar ship.
My last action was prepping evasive maneuvers, so okay. I'm holding on to that.
Okay, yeah, keeping that in your back pocket. So Taeon, to give you a quick refresher as to what your situation is right now, you have just released the two prisoners from the brig. Got a little bit of a surprise from that, as you weren't anticipating there being two prisoners. You were just anticipating it being Jin Chang, the scientist that you came to rescue. There is a Vorta here as well, who seemed very pleased to see the Federation has shown up to rescue them and has followed you out. You did get into combat with a Jem'Hadar officer who nearly killed you from behind, was shrouded and activated, and you managed to spot it just at the last second and took him down. So y'all have just left the transporter room. What would you like to do?
Even Drac, I'm very nervous right now. I'm gonna lead everyone to the hatch that I entered through, and okay. As I'm going to try and reach hit comms and reach out to Commander Cadence.
Okay, so you're headed to the stern of the vessel to try to get back out of the crew drop ship, the crew drop point at the back of the ship that they use to unleash their units into combat. as you guys are making your way, you're keeping your phaser in front of you and moving tactically down the corridor, checking corners as you're moving through this area. You can hear the Vorta whisper as everyone is moving into the corridor. Just look out for wavy air, is what I like to tell people. Look out for wavy air. If you see anything.
Thank you very much for the advice.
Yeah, having both darkness and the shroud on their side, it's a miracle that you spotted them when you did to Aeon, but you managed to make your way towards the back. As you round one of the corners, you see the large doorway that leads into the stern area of the vessel, where there is an armory kept, as well as the hatch in which you entered and exit. Currently, the ship is the lights in here are fading in and out, indicating that the ship is at alert status. Also, Aeon, you don't have to make a roll here. You can hear the weapons fire going on the exterior of the vessel, as that is going to be starting up roughly about the time you're making it to the stern. So clearly, y'all are in combat. When you reach the stern of the vessel, you see that the room looks empty. There's no one back here.
I'm not risking it again. I'm going to do as much of a proper survey as I can and look around for any wavy lines, wavy air.
Okay, so you're going to scan real quick to see if anybody has the shroud. You can make a check right now to see if you can spot anybody. If you want, I would say this is probably a perception check essentially to spot this. I'll let you pick what attribute you think works best here, and if you can rationalize it, but obviously you're using your security.
Yeah.
To spot. So go ahead. Tell me what what attribute would you like to pick for this, and how are you using it?
I actually don't know.
Be like a reason.
I'm thinking reason. I'm thinking either or daring, because this is very much under pressure. I feel like daring. In my brain, daring is always like doing something quickly and under pressure. I'll do reason security, if that makes sense.
Reason security. All right. Go ahead and make your roll. The difficulty is 3.
3. Oh, okay. I'm gonna buy a die in that case.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Shroud is not easy to spot.
Yeah, I'm definitely gonna buy a die for that one. There it is. There's that one. Okay, that's 3 successes exactly.
3 successes. You scan around the room. There's a lot of places something could jump out of. You're aware that these things can hide right in front of you. You sweep the phaser out in front of you, steadying your breath. You don't see anything that looks like a threat. There doesn't appear to be anybody in this room with you all.
Slowly move forward then towards the hatch.
Okay. You move over to the hatch. The Vorta speaks up and says, what do you plan on doing with that?
I will turn to the Vorta. I'm hoping one of our own on the other side will catch us when we jump.
When we jump? Surely you're joking.
I just stare at them.
Jin chimes in and goes, you want us to jump out of a moving starship?
I'll be much harder than coming into a moving one.
Might I remind you that we're in space right now?
I'm going to tap into comms. Reach out to Cadence.
I am afraid to inform you that as you tap the comms, you hear this dead chirp sound on the communicator. There is a trait you may now add to the scene.
Yeah.
Communications interference 2.
Tion taps their comm badge. And
it's also worth noting the shields of the vessel are up as well. Yeah.
They hear the dead chirp.
I might be able to help with that.
How so?
Well, look at me. I belong here. This was once my ship. Well, a ship for the founders, of course, he says with some reverence. But I have a few things that I remember from my time when they were still following orders. He walks over and begins to tap on the console, and you see the door you all come through goes shh, and closes, and he taps a few more buttons, and you see this light extend out from the control panel next to the door, indicating that it's locked. It says, that of course won't hold them for more than a few moments. They'll simply beam into the room and kill us all. But maybe I can get us communications access.
That'd be a great help, and I hope you understand. But after this, I think we're going to have a lot of questions for you.
Oh, I'm sure you do. And I will be happy to answer them. Hopefully, you can both rescue me and our brilliant scientist friend here, and kill every single one of these Jem'Hadar. Everyone wins.
Let's get that comms up, please.
He goes to work. And I'm going to take it that you're going to be holding your action here as the Vorta starts to do his job. Jin looks incredibly nervous and is watching the door. She clutches her elbows and takes a seat near one of the armory benches and just starts looking up at you and back to the door.
I think watching the door, I will turn to, not turn to them, Jin, but like speak to them and say, "Are you hurt?"
She shakes her head and says, "No, I'm okay."
Okay. Your sister was very worried.
My sister? Is she all right?
Yes.
They didn't let me speak to her. Did something happen with the drop? Of course, that's why you're here. And she's okay?
She will be.
She exhales and says, good, I'm going to kill her.
We'll make sure to leave the pleasure to you.
She weakly smiles up at you, a little confused to hear the Vulcan humor, but nods.
Do you think there's a moment where it goes, that was a joke?
It's not bad. She goes back to staring at the floor and then back to the door like she's waiting for somebody to come through it at any moment. She has an unusual amount of anxiety on her face, like she knows something, like she has a particular fear.
I don't know if I'd call it unusual.
Yeah.
I think it's very normal right now.
Yeah. While this is happening, I'm going to either you can keep the initiative using whatever you've got at your disposal to do that. Otherwise, I think you automatically get to keep the initiative because of Noir's ability. Is that right? At the top of every round, you get...
It's not automatic, it's for free. It just happens for free.
Yep.
Like Noir can choose to do.
Yeah. Okay, so you can choose to keep the initiative if you'd like. Otherwise, it's going to be their turn.
I say we keep the initiative.
We should keep the initiative.
Okay.
Yeah.
Does anyone have a plan? Because I've got a batshit idea, but
Sam, what's up?
Captain, we got to get them out somehow. Either someone in engineering does something real fancy, someone in tactics burns those shields, or I fly something real stupid. What have you got?
Well, I know that you can fly. How much easier would it be if they couldn't?
Inestimably, sir.
Helsman, get us close. We're going to activate the tractor beam.
All right.
So essentially, if we're successful, the target vessel is going to be immobilized and cannot move. This is going to help our birds. Again, bees stinging the crap out of a big whatever the hell, and easier to jump out of a ship if it ain't moving. And I have to roll a control security, and I'll be assisted by the Pride structure security. It's going to be a difficulty of 2. It can only be directed at a target within close range.
They're in close range.
So let's get it.
Alrighty.
Alrighty.
All right. So you're directing the
want some of
USS
this
Pride.
fine
I'm sorry.
Oh, I was just offering our captain some of this fine momentum this evening.
Oh yeah, I'll take that.
So okay, so activating you are directing your ship to activate tractor beam.
Mm-hmm. Alrighty. So. Ba-ba-ba-ba-ba-ba-ba-ba-ba.
If I remember,
All right, that is going to be 2 successes. I rolled a 4, 7, and 13. I needed to hit an 11. My control isn't that great, but that
That's
should
easy.
be a success.
okay, cool. All right. Well,
Did we get a roll pride?
Oh, we haven't rolled pride yet. Who's rolling pride?
I don't know.
I'm over here. I can roll it.
Roll pride.
Security, please.
Pride.
Yeah.
Say,
this is
sorry. Say
stru-
it. Say the stats again.
It's structure plus security.
Okay. Nope. Nope. There we go. No, it's a 17.
17. Okay, so Pride's not gonna be able to help. So total of how many successes?
2.
2. All right. That is the difficulty was 2, so that's all you needed. You are going to absolutely capture the Jem'Hadar attack craft. You see the glowing halo of the tractor beam immediately initiate as Hata, following your orders, activates the tractor beam from the ops, and you see on the view screen that this attack ship is swooping in, and the glow of the tractor beam just go and envelop the shields, and the attack ship starts to slow considerably right in front of you. You have them in a tractor beam. All right. What's up?
I was just gonna ask, do we want to start attacking that communication block that we have with Taeon?
Are we out of actions though?
Out of major actions, yes. If you were going to commit to a major action, you would need to wait till your
We'd
next
be able to do a trait spend down if we wanted to go into our momentum pool, though. Now would be the time because it's associated with a player action.
I see. Okay. Yeah, if they can be related, if that is allowed, if those can be,
Sorry, what do you mean by related?
like because you can only do like momentum stuff like that normally if it's on an action related to what you're doing.
Right,
or
the
is
harmonic
this different?
fluctuation
Right.
of the tractor beam would have to modulate the communications jam. Yes.
Yes. Okay. That's what I was asking.
Yeah. So if you are trying to, if I remember correctly, so creating a trait is creating or trying to remove traits is, if you're using momentum to do it, as Sam was saying, then you can just do it right now.
Okay.
If you were trying to use a major action to do it, if you were trying to do it through a dice roll, it's a major action. So then you wouldn't be able to do as you were suggesting. Yeah. So
I see. Okay.
yeah.
I get those confused.
So
yeah, then
burning
we should-
momentum to do it, you can, but it's worth noting too that in order to create and reduce traits, you have to spend a certain amount of momentum each time. So in this time, if you guys are creating or reducing a trait or altering a trait, it's 2 momentum.
we can do that.
So you could reduce the severity of the trait by 1.
Yes.
So bringing 2, right now it's at a 2, you could bring it down to 1, which means you're starting to cut through the interference.
I think yes.
Okay.
I just want to make sure that was allowed. That's what I was trying to figure out how.
Yeah. And it is repeatable. So you burn 2 momentum now, but it'll bring it down to 1 this turn. Which means that it's possible that you might get some static interference in every other word right now if you try to communicate with Drac.
All right.
Or we could kill our whole pool and clear the trait.
Is the next one also 2, or is it more expensive for another one?
It's 2 each time you want to
each time,
lower
okay.
severity. Yeah.
Yeah. So it'd be down to no momentum, but the trait would be clear.
Mm-hmm.
What do you guys think?
I think communication is going to be key here.
I think we should do
I
it.
think
Okay.
he's our whole objective right now.
Yeah.
Yeah. So the technobabble that Sam said happened when the tractor did the thingamajig, and now we can hear Sure.
Okay, so you guys are going to burn 4 momentum. We'll say this is something else that Hata, who is your former Hata's not there. I forgot.
Hata's at
on the other side
yeah.
of the galaxy. So your ops station basically is coordinating with Science Station right now, and they start working on cutting through the communications. You start hearing some static come in. As this is happening, that means on this action, as the Vorta is attempting to cut through communications, you hear the Vorta say, "I believe I have something," and then you hear the chirp on your comms as the USS Pride is saying ... Anything?
Your vessel, we've got the vessel that you're in on a tractor beam. We're working on continuing building a escape plan. If you have anything on your side, that would be a beautiful time for you to share it.
Well, I found Jen, which is great news. Confusing news. I found a Vorta in the same brig as Jen.
Wait, what was that?
A Vorta.
Their
in
Vorta?
the brig. I'm not sure, Captain.
Well,
yes, their former Vorta. Well, current, but mostly former Vorta.
Well, this just gets better and better, doesn't it? All right, Taeon, continue working on the exit plan. We've got your back.
Thank you, Captain.
Right. With that, if nothing else, it's going to pass to them. Okay. On their turn, they are going to disable your tractor beam emitter, which is a control security plus a weapon security task. So let's make some rolls as they are going to open fire.
They've got to hit difficulty 4.
That's right. Yep, difficulty 4. All right, so this is going to be, this is a, wait, I have this equation. Let's see. Yeah, and I see. Okay. Let's see if they can pull this off. Let's see. I'm going to spend 4 momentum.
Yeah.
2, 3.
We back.
And that's going to give me 3 extra dice. No, sorry, 2 extra dice. So that's going to give me a total dice pool of 4 d20.
I get my 2 determination.
That's 5 successes. I am now going to roll the assist from their ship. Which is up. Oops, no, not 2 dice. 1 die. All right, so I get back 1 threat, and you see this short burst of cannons come right out of the Jemadar ship, and it slams into the Pride. The Pride rocks suddenly as everyone feels that impact of the cannons. Immediately, the tractor beam goes offline, and then they're going to take their minor action. They are going to. Actually, they are going to use their minor action to activate their impulse, and they're going to immediately accelerate they fly right past the Pride as they accelerate at high speeds, and they're going to move up to 2 zones away within long range. They fly right underneath the saucer section as they barrel past the Pride, and I'm going to spend 2 threat to activate their improved reaction control. Improved impulse drive, which is going to increase the difficulty of attacks on them by +1. And then I'm going to spend a threat to keep the initiative. And they are going to use their next action to maneuver So they're at long range. They're going to use an action to maneuver. This is going to be a difficulty. This is going to be a control plus con task. Control. Yep. Control plus con, which is 14. Yep. So just. Okay, so 2 and assisted by ship's systems, which is going to be structure plus con. Structure, con, perform task. They do get the focus as an assist, so rolling the dice. And ooh, so that's they're gonna generate 3 momentum. And that is going to be the end of their round. Basically, they accelerate right past the Pride. You see them move out into long range, and it's reminding you again at the incredible speed. These things basically move roughly the same way the Defiant moves. As they race past the Pride, they immediately start going into a long-range bank turn. They come right about, and now they're astern of the Pride. They bank around and start angling for an attack run on the vessel. And that's going to be the end of their action. It is now y'all's turn. What would you like to do?
Oh, they don't get away that easy.
They aren't getting away.
Nope, but I was right up under them, and I would prefer to be, again, minor action impulse to even up with them. And from there...
You've got Griffin Wing on you now, by the way, you can use.
Taeon, how are we getting you out?
We have 2 other people with us that we need to get off this ship. I don't know if jumping's an option.
We can't get those shields.
Give me a moment. I'll see what I can do from on the inside. Stay close.
Hell. All right. Then I'm gonna roll for trait. Then
You're gonna roll for trait?
Yep.
What you gonna do?
Let's see. I'm going to, along with my wing, what is the composition of Jem'Hadar shields?
Composition?
Yeah.
I mean, what is their strength?
I mean, just any particular interest to their flavor of energy.
No, they have pretty standard shields. Powerful for a ship this size, but not exceptional. They're mostly known for being incredibly fast and maneuverable. Very difficult for larger ships to hit.
So I think what we're going to do is we're going to modulate the deflector rays to output them with some just light positron scatter to create the trait shield fluctuation, to try to make it easier to start to create a window for the engineering team. It's not an attack, it's a trait.
Then I would say what that'll do is what I would say is any attempt maybe from the inside to lower the shields might be at a reduced difficulty now. So if they try to get, because there's no one on the outside that can get those shields down without trying to blow up the ship or using some kind of unless you guys are doing something a little different. But right now, as I understand it, Aeon is the one that's trying to get the shields down, right, from the inside.
Right. We have shields down from the inside. And I want to try to create opportunities as possible for instance, Zoe to try to get a window in a fluctuation.
Oh,
I'm trying
I
to create a trait that would enable that if that's the alternate, just creating as many different possibilities.
An assist from the outside. Yeah.
Okay. So then, what I might say then is any attempt to beam out is going to be at a reduced difficulty of 1. So you create a
that's
trait.
the trait
So
I'd be going
yeah. So then, even if you're able to, so if you are able to disrupt the shields even momentarily, thanks to the scattering field, you're going to be able to have a reduced difficulty at the attempt, which is good because y'all are basically going to be doing a site to site, beaming somebody out and beaming them straight to the Pride. That's going to be, that's going to be a site to site transport. So yeah, it'll be a little more challenging than usual. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
All right.
That's good use of a major action.
A major action trait. Those are rolled on.
If you are, if you're trying to create a trait, it's a major action. But, they only list the equation of how it gets done once. It's under the standard major actions. But create trait is you basically it's a difficulty 2 and it's an attribute plus department. So you kind of just tell me which department you're rolling on and which attribute you're using and how you're doing it.
So because we're not using our weapons to do this, it is again a function of deflector ray modulation. I would argue that's con. I'd argue that's a ship systems sort of thing. Control con. I'm not attempting to do damage.
True.
Nor am I using my weapon systems to achieve the effect.
I'm not saying no. I'm just pondering it because my immediate instinct is to make it a science check. Since you're using energy fields to disrupt, but your familiarity with disrupt. Also, peregrines aren't necessarily known for having the best deflector shields. But
the griffins are built a little different. And ultimately, I think this falls into the, this is part of the second edition player calling roll thing, right?
Yeah, I'm trying to figure out narratively how this would work. The truth is if you had all of Griffin Wing coordinating with you and doing it all at once, then absolutely. I'm following you. I'm basically mapping it out in my head. So because I'm trying to, I think I'll let it go on this one because I could see the pitch that you're making, and I can't find a good reason to say no. Technically, every time the deflector dish has ever been used to disrupt or lower or do anything to shields, it's usually been through a science roll of some kind. And navigationally speaking, that's when deflectors would come in. But I think it's totally viable to argue that your familiarity with using a deflector dish in terms of navigation gives you an intimate understanding of how the system works to use it to multiple effects. So I think it's a good sell. So I'm going to go with it.
Thank you. I also have the astronavigation focus as well as small craft engineerings and flight control systems. So
that makes sense to me.
All of my skills kind of come in on using this little ship in weird ways.
Okay.
All right. And all the better because I did actually roll a 5. So the existence of the focus is relevant. So that's going to be a total of 3 successes.
So you gain 1 momentum and you'll have that trait.
All right.
The other reason why I think the trait works really well is what you're doing is actually quite humble. You're literally just trying to make this easier for when the thing happens. You're not trying to kill their shields, in which case I would say, good luck. The Borg couldn't even pull that off without a couple of rounds of action. But in this case, totally. So you've got a trait on this now. The Pride and you or anybody else is going to be able to use it, that if you guys try, when that window opens, it'll be a reduced difficulty of -1. So, which will be very good for Zoe. Who is probably sweating right now in transporter room 1, just going, okay, it's on me. You got this, Zoe. You got this. You've trained for this. It's combat transport. It's Jem'Hadar. Oh my God, it's Jem'Hadar. You got this, Zoe. All right. You've got a minor action still. Oh no, you used impulse. You moved up on them. That's going to be your action. Then I believe it's going to toss back to them.
My talent comes in and it tosses back to us.
Does that happen every round?
Same round.
Every action?
Gone back to the top yet?
Yeah, we haven't gone back to. Oh,
never mind.
Yeah.
My apologies.
We're literally on this is action number 3 now, or 4 technically. All right, so it's going to go back to them. They are going to accelerate. They there's a split second where it looks like they're about to do something they're known for doing. It looks like they're going to ram right into Griffin 1. because as they bank around, they accelerate, but they pass right through Griffin Wing. And you hear Marceau go, fuck, as she banks hard, just as this attack ship just blasts past them at full impulse. They're going to use their minor action to move up to 2 zones and close in on the Pride. And then I'm actually going to spend 1 threat to get a second minor action. And they are going to get a targeting solution on the Pride with their minor action. And then on their turn, they are going to open fire.
So my last action was evasive maneuvers.
Okay.
That makes it contested?
It makes it an opposed check.
Opposed check, okay.
Yeah. So they are going to, they're going to make their roll here. All right. So systems. Yeah. Because this is, that's right, 11. So.
I would like to use that momentum we got to buy a die because it gives me a reroll.
I'm also going to spend some threat here. I'm going to just spend 1 threat this time. Let's give him an additional D20. All right. So I need to get 3, and now I get to roll for ship systems. Oh, mercy. Okay, so 5 successes total to hit. What'd you get?
I haven't rolled yet because I wanted to hear what you.
Yeah, it's an opposed check. So so the difficulty is basically 5 to not get shot.
So I bought a die. So I have my extra die.
Okay.
I have evasive maneuvers, helm operations, Excelsior expert. I assume any and all of those come into play as focuses.
Which one?
Excelsior expert, evasive maneuvers, helm operations.
Evasive maneuvers would come. Yeah, none of those other would affect this, but evasive maneuvers will directly affect this.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then this is control con.
Control con, yeah.
Okay. And I get 1 reroll because of cautious.
Captain, want to roll Pride?
Yeah, I need a
I was
pride.
actually going to pitch, can I assist?
No, because this is the result of an opposed check on an action that on the maneuver that Caitlin activated. So you would have had to, So in this case, it's just Helm's operations.
I need someone else roll for pride. Captain,
Whoever wants to roll pride.
You're here with me.
No, I'm gonna spend a determination.
Okay.
To get a special talent. The special talent that I'm getting is methodical planning. When an ally attempts a task which benefits from a trait that was created or represents your plan or strategy, you may assist that ally's task even if you are not present in combat. This assistance does not require you to use the task to assist the ally. So since we have our trait up, I'm going to assist.
Which trait?
The shield trait that was just made by Cadence.
This is an evasive maneuvers check.
An evasive maneuvers check. So you wouldn't be able to. That wouldn't apply here.
Gotcha.
This is me avoiding getting hit. Is what this is.
Never trying to get the ship out of the way because I'm about to get strafed.
Hey, sister, don't get hit.
I'm working on it. I mean, either way, I think I would get a pride assist. So I would.
Yeah, pride still assists for sure.
I would still love that roll regardless.
Yeah. So it'd be an engine's con check, I believe, for the pride.
Muted, by the way, Noah.
13. You're muted.
Oh, no, I rolled an 8.
Oh, I'm so sorry. It's a structure con check. I had that wrong. Structure's con.
12.
Which is better for the pride.
Yes.
Yeah, 8 still passes.
Yep.
Yeah.
How many successes did you get?
So with that, it's 5.
Okay. I'm going to spend a point of threat and have that go to me.
I'm going to spend my determination in turn one of Caitlin's rolls to a 1.
Okay. That'll
What's
honor
happening?
that.
So that's 5, 6. That's 5 for me, and 6 with the addition of the pride.
Okay, in which case, the you see as the Jimdar comes strafing towards the Pride, they immediately open fire, and these heavy bolts of disruptor cannon energy that almost slam across the top of the Pride's hull barely miss as you see the shields kind of glowing just on the perimeter of the Pride superstructure from these blasts of energy that come out of the front of this attack ship. But miraculously, in a virtuoso display of helm skill, you navigate this Excelsior class refit starship out of the path of danger from this Jem'Hadar attack ship as it tries to strafe the vessel.
This is an Excelsior class related task. We have a bonus floating momentum from me just by virtue of me having successfully completed the task. So if anybody has something they want to spend that on, it doesn't get to stay. We just have to use it.
Oh, I don't know. What
If we are up by 1, we can clear a level of trade or add a level of trade.
Yeah, I think we definitely add a level of trade.
We could put some trade on the shield.
Okay.
Make it fluctuating.
Right, because floating just means that it has to be used immediately.
It just has to be spent.
It has to be
yes.
used
But
right
you
away,
could combine with, if we have one in the pool, and I think we do, then now we can
I spent
spend
it.
that for trade.
I spent it to get cautious. So we have.
Then I think unless we have a 1 spend, which
if anybody has a 1
what
spend.
1 spends are react, obtain information.
Obtain information. Yes, because can anyone? We've got eyes on it. Can we get any? Is there anything we would want to know about?
So yeah, the way I would rule that then is if you wanted to use an obtain information check here to like gain information about this.
Yeah.
I could probably tell you about your experience in dodging the vessel.
Yes.
Might give you an idea of like the skill level of the opponents you're up against. You know what I mean? Getting a feel for that.
I would like that. Yeah.
So if you would like, I can tell you.
What do I get from this vessel having avoided it?
They are an exceptional crew, which is the highest level crew you could possibly give an NPC in Star Trek Adventures. They, their traits, their attributes departments is 11-4. So they are rolling high dice on just about everything. You also know that I'll give you this as much as well, that they're equipped with multiple different types of energy weapons. And the disruptor cannons that would have hit you, it's not even their most feared weapon on that ship, but it is their most powerful. They hit basically like the Defiant hits. So it doesn't have quad weapons, but the disruptor cannon is something that Starfleet knows well about because they used to face it down with the Klingons about that all the time. So the disruptor cannons you don't have to worry about too much because they would slam into the resistance and shield rating of the ship. The thing you need to worry about is their phased polaron beam banks, which they can use with greater effect. They have piercing. And that means they ignore the Pride's resistance. They will just go straight into your shields and blast. And when that's done, it just goes into breaching. They ignore the resistance of the ship. So, but aside from that, what you've taken away is that they are not slouches. You are a damn good helmswoman, and they are also pretty damn good at flying their ship as well, which makes sense because they managed to almost managed to keep pace with Cadence. Not quite. Not quite. That's going to be the end of their action, though.
I'd like to do something silly, gang. How we feeling?
If you got an idea, go for it.
All right. I would like to spend my last determination. This time for special talent, and the special talent I am taking is Transporter Chief. Transporter Chief says the following. You're well versed in the operation of transporter systems and can often get them to function in extreme circumstances or achieve outcomes that few could. Such efforts are never without risk, given the delicacy of the technology. When you attempt a task to use, repair, or modify a transporter, you may add 2 to threat to reduce the difficulty of the task by 2 to a minimum of 0. I am pulling our people off of that ship by modifying the transporter. I will charge the Cadium-2 Quantum Cruncher to polarize the Magnesium Core Booster and get them off of this ship using the assist from the Peregrines.
Okay. So this is where we run into where the rules tell you can do a thing and Star Trek tells you can't do that thing. So we can find a middle ground here because it's pretty explicit that you cannot beam people through shields.
The book itself also says that we can.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Is like Star Trek is saying you cannot do that. The rules are telling you can do that. So, so my middle ground for this is going to be activating that and letting you do it. I think it's fair to say you could try to pull it off, especially given the fact that Cadence just kind of provided something of a narrative window for you to pull this off. My compromise on what's up, Caitlin?
I was gonna say if we could we pitch using an aux point to activate the Vorta from inside the ship because they're currently trying to get the shields open. Could we use this? Clever
little player, you.
Could we wrap that into this? Is this the top of the round again? Like the top of the round?
Narratively solves the problem and opens the door for Noir to activate and do exactly as he said and give y'all the window that you're looking for to get them off that ship. Yes.
And we can blow a kiss at Ox Crow.
Yes. So if you're willing to spend that and to activate it, yes, if you're willing to activate the Vorta as an Ox crew, then yes, Noir will be able to, as written with no compromise, y'all will be able to roll. And yeah, I'll allow that. Yes.
I like the working together from both ends. The giving the opportunity and having the expertise.
In that case, if you would please roll me a d12.
1.
Sam! The moment someone says Oxford, Sam's got that die in the chamber.
Got that ready.
I had it 5 minutes ago.
I've been waiting.
Kai, you just activated the Vorta in a clutch moment to allow this roll. So thank you, Ox crew. Okay, so this would be standard a difficulty 5 to do. However, it drops to difficulty 4 thanks to Cadence, and then it drops further 3-2. So it's a difficulty 2 check to find this 1 in a million window that is being created by your captain and by your lieutenant commander and by Zoe and the Vorta. Okay. So I'm going to need a roll here. If somebody would like, I think it's so the GM does not be the one who does the dice roll here. Go ahead. I'm gonna hold on. Let me pull up the Vortas.
So
I'll roll since I'm there with Volta.
So what are we rolling for here?
This is to transport. So this is going to be
this is going to be Jaren doing it from the chair because he has access to it.
Oh, okay. Okay. So if you're not doing it from the station in the transporter room, it is the difficulty does go up. So, but that still makes it
given that the captain lowers it by 2 with the talent, it's still net to our benefit to have the captain do it.
Oh yeah, totally. And pride still assists.
And we have, I will say, with the rolling 6 successes over a 5 difficulty, we do have now 1 momentum if you want to buy a die.
I definitely want to buy that die. Thank you.
It's a difficulty 3 check to do this, and I have a feeling you're gonna pull this off. That's right. I don't have to. Here's gonna be my trade-off. Just to add even more to the absolute drama of holy shitness of what you're pulling off. Because of the circumstance and what you're doing, and because it is narratively appropriate in this moment, I am going to jack the threat complication range. The complication range is going to go up on this because of what you are doing. Gotcha. However, I'm going to increase the complication range to 4. So 17 to 20 is a complication.
For all the folks that are in the StreamPunks Discord, you can see that I got a 11, 11, and a 1.
A 1.
Oh my god.
A 1.
Here, let me roll for pride. What
roll
systems?
For pride.
What system department are we doing here? Is this
to transport? Hold on one sec. I never have this one queued up because we always just use it narratively. Transporting is transporters. Okay, so you are making a. Oh, you know what? I used to have this. This is going to be a control engineering check.
For the ship?
No, this is going to be for.
I was like, we don't have control for the ship.
No. Oh wait, that was Noir's roll, wasn't it? That's what you just rolled. Control engine. Oh, okay. No, for the ship. Sorry.
It's okay.
Juggling so many things right now.
I assume it's like computers engineering or something like
I
that.
believe it was. I think it was sensors.
Sensors. Okay. Well, I'll take that.
Yeah, I believe. Oh, you know what? Here we go. Engineering. Science lab, holodeck, sickbay, transporter room, control engineering, sensors plus science, assisted by the ship's sensor science.
Oh, boy. Oh no. Okay. Well, it got worse. That's fine. All right. Roll pride. Here we go.
Roll pride.
Oh, it's a success. I rolled a 7.
Okay.
Let's go, Pride!
Let's go, Pride!
That's my big bird.
As you're about to leave the stern section of the ship, the Vorta goes, "Wait a minute. This isn't the communications. Oh no. They forgot to change the command codes." And you see the Vorta taps a button, smiles at you and says, "I certainly hope your Starfleet is competent enough to," and all of a sudden a blue curtain of energy engulfs all of you. Jaren, you got the transporter lock and you see the pattern buffer fill with the 3 members of the crew that you were trying to transport off. Seconds later, you hear Zoe say, "Captain, we've got them. We've got them. They're in transporter room 1.
Birds, get back on Big Bird and let's get out of here."
Aye, sir.
That cost Jared a piece of his soul.
Yeah. It's at this point where you hear Pavin's voice come through the comms in the chair and says, "Captain, reminder, we still don't have reserve power, sir."
Ooh, let's see.
We're still in combat, so that's going to have been your action. And
how much momentum do we have?
We just gained 2 from that roll, I believe, because it was a difficulty 3 roll, and we rolled 5. Am I correct on that? So we have 2 right now.
I would like to spend an aux point.
Okay.
To activate Pavin, and then I would like to spend 2 momentum to give him a major action to rewrite power with our secondary reactor. I said, get us out of here.
Bossy. Okay, so he is going
He's
to
a Starfleet captain. What else do you expect?
Okay, so rerouting power. He is going to have to make a roll here. Regaining power is you draw energy from another system to replenish this. He's going to make a control engineering task with a difficulty of 1.
See,
you can choose to succeed at cost if he doesn't want to chance this, but I think he's just gonna do it. Oh, hold on a sec. Oh no, this should be a regain power check. No, that's what this is. Difficulty cost, you restore ship's reserve power. That's right. Okay, so he's gonna make a control engineering check. All right, I'm gonna roll it. Let's see. He is now an activated support crew character. 10, 4. Yes, he is using his focus because he specializes in power systems. And he rolls the dice. The difficulty of this is 1, I believe. With a difficulty of 1. Oh, well, that's lovely. What did he roll? He rolled a crit. He rolled a 1 and a 14. So you guys are going to get a bonus point of momentum for that. And at the end of this major action, he is going to get power restored. So on this round, he restores power. Yeah. All right. You hear him, hi, Captain. He turns immediately to the rest of the crew and says, "I need to divert all power from the galley, wherever you can find it."
By the way, on the D12, I rolled a 7. Got you, Sam. Yeah, in your face.
Preemptive.
In your face.
This one, Aux crew member, thank you, Michael Harris, for that Aux crew points. All right.
Sam 99 Noir 1.
Has everybody taken actions this turn? I think that's everybody, yeah?
I think that's everyone.
Yeah.
So
All right, that's going to start us back up off the top of the new round then, which leaves us starting
Wait,
with
that was the second round, yes?
What's that?
Yeah.
That was the second round?
The second round of combat?
Yeah.
Yeah, I believe that would
Then
be the
I still
second
need
round.
to go.
Oh, okay. Yeah, you still got. Well, no, you went. You used your action to use the scattering field to create the transporter effect that they were able to use. This is the end of that round.
Okay,
It's technically,
all right.
yeah, it's technically the second round of combat, but it's the first round of tonight's game. So
Thank you.
yeah,
All
so
right.
we're actually entering into the third round. Top of the third round is going to start with them since you guys ended the last round. So on their turn, they are going to, as a minor action, they are going to use targeting solution on the Pride again. And
oh, hold on. Sorry. My action was
evasive actions.
evasive actions
take
from
evasive?
the first from the
That's from
first
last-
round.
Oh, that was from,
That's from
oh,
last
until you, oh, okay.
to hold and so that was what I did for them to attack me. So the roll I made was on their action, not my action.
Oh, correct.
That's
Yeah.
So can I
right.
take evasive
Okay.
actions again this round?
Your helm.
Yeah.
Well, you have power back. Might I recommend going to warp?
Do we have Casey?
Oh no, you don't have Casey.
We need
Casey's
so
still
then
down
no.
there.
We need to
Casey-
send
No, I-
rendezvous coordinates
Yeah.
is what we need to do. Rendezvous coordinates over code, which at least was my plan, but I
Is-
think anyone can do
Is
that.
she going to be able to get out of system though with a Jem'Hadar ship?
There's
pissed
no
off her?
way. There's no way she can outrun a Jem'Hadar attack vessel.
No, so we need
Right,
to
but
get
if she goes to warp now, I mean, you're not running. You're warping.
Do we know she's on? Where is Casey?
She's on her
Is
freighter.
Casey on the freighter?
No. We pulled her.
Yeah.
We pulled her. We have her.
Yeah, I was like, wasn't that the goal?
She
But
was
I
on
didn't.
the peregrines.
No,
Yeah.
you guys didn't pull her. You beelined straight for. If I remember correctly,
Taeyeon went for Jin and Cadence
Yeah.
went for Casey, but
Oh,
I didn't
wait.
know what.
I'm sorry.
Remember, I did my beam.
Casey
we
is
did the
on
third
your peregrine, I believe.
Yeah.
Isn't she?
Yeah.
I seem to
She
remember her
on mine,
being-
or did I side to side her? We have her. is
You
the
have
Have
thing.
her? Okay.
But what we don't have are the little birds.
Birds. That
That's
also.
true.
So
I don't want to leave
yeah.
without. all
Okay,
of-
we're all caught up.
Um,
This is what happens when you need to catch up on like the
Yeah, I don't remember
complexity-
exactly where Casey is. I just know we have her.
complexity of
I was like, I knew we
I'm-
went for her, but I couldn't remember the outcome.
I
Yeah.
think she might be on the Pride, actually.
I think we put her on the Pride because
Yeah.
I wanted to keep it open because
Yeah.
I didn't know if I was going to pick up Taeyeon, so I wouldn't have kept I remember
Got it.
being
That's right.
keenly aware of my capacity and not
That
wanting
tracks.
like people sitting in people's laps in
Yeah.
people's
that
laps.
tracks.
Only 2 layers of laps. I'm very firm on that point in my peregrine.
Okay.
Okay,
So-
so what would you like to do this round?
So then I'm going to continue with I'm going to do my action as evasive maneuvers for while because we can't, we have to wait for the peregrine. So
Okay,
I
cool.
mean, you could barn swallow us.
can I do that? Can that be my action is to scoop?
I'm only an impulse away.
Can I scoop everybody? We did practice it once.
I
That
remember-
was a thing that we
did.
did. That we did
Yeah.
actually practice that.
I mean, it's so.
It's such a small door. That's why I'm so
Yeah.
stressed.
So I would tell you, barn swallow works great when you are a small maneuverable transport. It works great if you're a helicopter or a troop carrier. When you are a battleship, barn swallow is really dependent on just putting yourself in the path of shuttles and fighters that are just basically doing emergency landing Viper style on Galactica, which is just like full speed. You don't slow down until you reach the last possible moment in which you thrust back and don't even bother with the emergency landing gear. You just crash in, and that's
Sounds
going
good.
to be on Griffin Wing. So
Okay,
if you
so-
want, what I would say is if you want to use this action, I would say I would let you basically decrease the difficulty of them being able to pull that maneuver for Griffin Wing.
I
Put
don't know.
impulse on your minor action. That'll just get you into the position and doesn't prevent you from using evasive for your major action.
I was going to say,
Because I do think I want to use evasive. I feel they're hitting pretty hard, and I want.
so what I
you
would
want a
recommend-
contested roll.
So what you could use impulse, I was going to say use thrusters because that's more of like moving fine contact. But if you want to get zones away, the only problem
Which
is
we are
though,
right now because I moved out from Pride because they had been at close
That's
and then they
right.
turned around and came back in. I have not had a move of action since they came back
Griffin is
in,
at long
meaning
range
I'm
right
at
now.
long relative to Pride.
So
So
then
I will use impulse to get myself in a position for the Griffin Wing, and then
Okay.
my action will be evasive maneuvers.
okay, we found out what we're going to do. All
There
right.
it is.
So
Yeah.
then
we
yes.
had to get all of our ducks in a row.
So you bank hard to port. The view screen shows the star fields begin to tilt as you kick in impulse, and the ship, you can feel the impulse engines trembling as the incredible amount of power is emitting from them as the battleship turns a sharp bow angle. As you do this, you're turning basically to 270 on your bearing from where you were facing. As you're doing this, everyone who was watching on the outside is watching a very impressive maneuver from this refit Excelsior class. As you start banking around, everyone on Griffin Wing can just look out their window and see the Pride just angling hard as this attack ship breaks away and starts swooping back around. And a few moments later, the Pride at incredible speed starts barreling towards Griffin Wing. The moment you notice the Pride is coming at you at near full impulse, everyone in Griffin Wing, you included, know exactly what's happening. You know what the helm, you know what your sis is doing, and you know what you have to do.
Buckle up, baby birds, and watch the pilot show you how she's doing it.
You can hear Devar on comms just go, God damn it, I hate this.
Woo!
And y'all book it. Okay, so evasive action, that's going to pass to their turn now. Okay, so now the Jim
We're not
Hadar.
at the top of the round, are we? We're not in a new round, are
This
we?
is the top of the round.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We
So
were squaring away the end of the last round.
yeah. So now we are at the top of the round, though, and it's going to be their action.
Yes.
So, top of the round on their action, they see the Pride heading towards the fighters, and they are going to use their minor action to also close the distance and basically put them right on the stern of the Pride. And then they are going to open fire once more. All right. So this is an opposed roll.
Yes.
I'm going to burn the last of the threat that I've got.
Yes. I was hoping there was only a little bit left.
Yep. They're going to burn the last of their threat. So this is going to be...
We have one momentum. I would like to nab that.
Yeah, shake that off, girl.
I will endeavor to.
Okay. They're going to be adding 2 dice to their pool for a total of 4 dice they're rolling. Okay, that's that. And then weapons plus security. They're rolling a single die. This is assist from their ship. And so you're gonna have to escape 6 successes.
Oh shit. Okay. Somebody roll for pride for me. Please and thank you.
I'll roll pride.
Yes, please.
Now that I'm back on the prides.
Yes, yeah.
Yep.
I'm alive right now. Celebratory roll.
I like this rule.
Roll pride. That's a 3. Is that good?
That might get
Yeah.
yes.
Yeah, no, that hits the number.
Hold on. I think that is a
It might be a crit.
Yeah,
as
no,
well.
that,
No, it's
that, yeah.
our security is 3. That's a crit.
That's so awesome because that gets us exactly 6.
Let's go.
The Polaron disruptor beam lances out from the front of that ship, and you once again send the Pride dipping. The polaron beam, as you bank hard, this time, you after a hard turn to port, this time you bank just slightly fine to the starboard bow, just enough to see that purple, like lavender colored beam just pierce space, lighting up the sky around everyone. You see the feared-faced polaron cannon beam just lance out towards the Pride and miss. Barely. The Pride flies right past you guys, and stern is available as everyone is basically looping in and kicking in their thrusters. There's no roll required here, really. It's just a maneuver check, but really you can just activate it here because I'm out of threat. And oh wait, no, hold up, no, I'm not. Because I'm not. I got a fuck ton of threat because the difficulty to hit was an opposed check. The flat difficulty to hit with I just had to beat my personal difficulty, which was 2 because I was using energy weapons. I rolled 6 successes, so I've got bonus threat. So I'm going to immediately burn my bonus threat to keep the initiative.
I would like to use my one floating momentum to what's the piloting thing where you can you traverse the distance? Can I use that for the
Difficult terrain?
It's whatever you can instead of rolling, you could spend a momentum to do it.
If it's difficult terrain, you can burn momentum and you just move through the difficult terrain. You don't make piloting checks. It's the gateway to moving through difficult terrain.
Can we use that to get the peregrines in? I have a floating momentum that I just have to use it.
Unfortunately, I would have to say no because it's a Griffin Wing action.
I see. That makes sense.
To take the action to basically the same way it is a minor action to scramble into land, but in this case, it would be y'all would need to on your turn. If it was your turn, you could spend momentum to take an extra action to get either Griffin Wing out or in.
Does my talent not cancel out and allow us to keep the initiative? Because that
right, but we have to get it first.
Right now.
You have to get the initiative first. This is still their turn.
This is their turn.
Yeah.
Okay, then can I use that floating momentum for an insight on what they're about to do next?
Well,
what's up, Sam?
So I double checked for opposed tasks. It doesn't run as base difficulty.
I have to beat my base difficulty first, and then it's an opposed task.
The reactive characters roll sets the difficulty. At least that's what I'm looking at on 258.
I changed your difficulty from 2 to 5. Is that what happened?
No. So the way it works is I roll the attack. And for the attack to even clear the zone of it being successful, I have to beat the standard difficulty first of an energy weapon attack of 2. Because it's entirely possible that you don't even need to evade if I miss. But once that happens, it becomes an opposed task. So difficulty, the difficulty number of successes the opponent scored when they rolled against their own target number is the difficulty of you had to roll against no, that's for defensive fire. Sorry. Specifically. All right, stand by.
And I know I think we were running off of kind of a hybrid, like a 1.5 edition earlier in the combat.
Yeah.
But I'm like, wait, but then did Caitlin, because there's a base difficult, like, what is this? Like, wouldn't you only make opposed rolls? Like, I don't.
Yeah. I feel like because then they become.
If you win the opposed task.
A lot of times
it's no longer.
Curious. That's fun. However, until the start of your next. Okay. One thing that we forgot to note is that one thing that we did forget to note though is that by succeeding on the evasive action, you actually move the ship 1 zone. You have the option of moving the ship 1 zone. So you could have just incorporated that into the move that you just did anyway. So that's kind of fun to do.
Okay.
I think Sam has the right of this. I think it's
new.
It's the opposed difficulty because I know when it's an opposed check like this specifically. I'm just gonna double check because I've got that rule up here. But if I remember correctly, that's gaining threats. That does sound reasonable to me because I don't see. I could see the logic in. Let me put it this. I'll just go ahead and make the rule here, and we can just refer to the rules later and just keep momentum of the story going. But I'm going to say that like it makes more sense to me that they would not gain bonus momentum because of the enormity of you being able to dodge so successfully. They wouldn't have any net successes at their disposal since you had dramatically more net successes that they fail.
That's a really good point, actually.
Yeah.
I like that.
So there wouldn't be any benefits. So I'll go ahead and agree with that rule, and I'll go and say that they do not get to burn threat for to keep the initiative. It is going to be y'all's turn again.
Okay, can I still have this floating momentum that I can't do anything with besides information? Is there any additional information I can get off of them or the ship or their intention, whatever I could feasibly get from evading that shot that would be more than what I got last time?
Their level of aggression would indicate that they're going to wreak as much damage and havoc as possible.
Cool.
And for the record, you don't know what the story is with these Jem'Hadar, but they are known for kamikaze attacks. Mm-hmm. You don't know what their entire style or what they're doing out here, what the story is with the Vorta, but it's not unheard of for a Jem'Hadar attack ship to just unalive an entire starship by slamming into it.
Cool. All right, so I say we don't let them have another task because that sounds rather concerning. Mm-hmm. By my math, if I move and Taveen prepare minor action, warp major action, we got it off the back of Captain's talent. Yes?
Oh, yeah, I was just going to say, with call to action, I can give you the minor action for free. And then with direct, I can give Caitlin the order to warp us. So you should be able to land on a minor action, right? You and yours?
Yeah, but we also need at least one minor action to prepare for warp. So we can't just give a direct major action without the preparatory minor action for Caitlin.
We give Eric 2 threat to get
I think we
get
just
another major action. We could do this all in one turn, is what I'm saying.
I mean, we don't need to do it any extra because we can just keep, this is the top of the round, so we could keep our initiative and we just get the two. So we don't have to worry about anything. We just have this. Yeah. We're just like set. We're just like good because you've got us with the keeping the initiative for free.
You have multiple ways of getting us the action economy we need.
You literally already got us.
Okay, listen, I'm over here stressing. I can't do shit with y'all.
Stressed about. I'm gonna get my tiny tin can ships into the ship that the Jem'Hadar are hard focusing aggressively, and we're just gonna get out of here. Why stress?
Hold on, listen to this.
Oh God.
In an opposed task, if the active character succeeds, they achieve their desired goal and they can spend any momentum that they generated from the outcome as usual. If the active character fails, however, the reactive character generates 1 momentum for each success fewer than the difficulty scored. So if the difficulty was set to 4 and the active character scored 2 successes, the reactive character gains 2 momentum. So in other words, y'all tied, but in the future, like if you manage to even more successfully evade the attack, you actually get the momentum from that.
So the momentum economy works ultimately the exact same way that it used to in first edition, where it was net successes.
Yes.
But the difference is there used to be difficulty 1 base, and I think we were operating off of that, and that seems like what changed with second, which is nice.
And I'll also say too that they have balanced out they've made it's so fair. You should be getting the momentum for a successful dodge on that. Because every action you take after you succeed over net successes, you should be getting a benefit for that. So it's pretty sweet. And also now there's even more of an incentive to evasive action. So all right.
I'm good at, baby, is literally one of my focuses.
Yeah. The only thing in the back of my head as a GM right now is I'm like, should there be like some kind of, when it's a scale 5 ship and a scale 3 ship, shouldn't the scale 3 ship get some this is my BattleTech brain talking though, so we can just get past this.
I mean, there is stuff. I mean, there literally with the scale ships earlier, Sam was getting bonuses or ease
Yeah,
of
that was kind of
So-
that was house ruled because it was just a really cool scene of like flying through the trenches.
So,
But
I mean,
didn't-
yeah. So
yeah.
yes, it's,
But
it's
in
my
this
go.
case,
And I
I've
have
been
the
ruling-
agile trait. There are a couple things.
Yeah,
Yeah.
in this case though, I've been ruling against the pride, and I didn't want to just like throw the players a curveball because I felt like it was more of just like, yeah, no, I'll look into that later. But
No, I mean, feel free to make small ships more effective. I'm
I
okay
think they
with
should be
that.
personally.
So as my sister is evading, I am twisting with the evasion, trying to read in the same way that if you try to figure out which way a soccer player is going to dodge, like you watch the hips, I'm watching like
Yeah.
from like the hinge of her, how she's moving my ship with, and let's bring her in.
Get
All
scooped.
right.
Sorry, Santos.
Incoming.
Incoming. All right.
So that
Screech.
is that minor and major action for you guys to get in?
I don't know. It's
Just-
just going to be a minor, but I'm okay. I can create. I don't know that there's a meaningful trait to be created off of that.
Fair.
I think
Yeah.
we just keep the momentum, prepare, and take the GTFO action.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm in.
I-
Yeah.
Do we want to spin? Because I can think of a trait. Wait,
If we can just leave this turn, do you need?
yeah,
a
if we
trait?
could just leave.
Yeah, I think so then we
Captain.
we're gonna forfeit that major action, keep the initiative for free, or keep the whatever turn for free, and then I will prepare and we are gone. Minor action, prepare, major action, warp.
Okay.
On the captain's orders.
Swing.
We're booking. We're booking.
You got to tell me where you're going. Where are you plotting a course
Yeah,
to?
where do we want to go?
We want to go to what's the last star base that we were at?
Well, we need to go get the rest of our
I was
crew.
going to
We're
say
heading
you do have crew members.
Oh yeah, we got
Heading to the
to
relay.
we got to get the rest of our crew. We're heading to that relay.
the relay.
Okay. All right. With that, the pride, after banking and shaking and baking, you get the green light that all the Griffin Wing are back on board and accounted for. With that, your helmswoman immediately turns over, rapidly punches in coordinates, and jumps to warp. And just so that I understand, what warp are you setting?
Max.
Max for
we're
warp,
getting-
so-
We're getting the fuck out of here.
You guys jump to warp. One sec.
One of these Admiral Rallin is going to revoke our permission to go as fast as possible.
I think if you're like us for this, I think
No, this is fair.
it's
No, this is fair.
questionable.
This is fair.
Make it go.
You guys leap to warp. You see the starfield flash in front of you, and meanwhile, down on the hangar deck, there are people rushing towards the Peregrine fighters with fire retardants. There are scuff marks and sparks still blistering out from underneath some of the Peregrines, who basically emergency landed and slid into the hangar bay. A couple of ensigns are rushing over and just helping a few of the pilots out of the cockpit of the Peregrines. Peaches is nowhere to be seen. And you guys are currently in the process of pulling yourselves out. It is also worth noting too that as you're pulling yourselves out, as soon as she steps out of the Peregrine, you see Casey just put her hands on her knee. I'm going to say Casey was in the Peregrine just to keep the drama going. But you see Casey, she puts her hands on her knees and takes a couple of steps forward, then braces herself up against the Peregrine and promptly throws up onto the deck. Without missing a beat, Santos goes, "Ensign, clean that." Santos, in an unusual peppy mood, pats the Peregrine and goes, "That's right. That's my girl."
Oh, I grab this dude, I hug him, I'm gonna swing him around.
You give him a swing. He goes, "Nice flying, Commander." Didn't
You
know we were
polished
gonna-
those engines up real nice. Oh, she went fast. She went real fast.
He pats his fighting teeth faces this whole time. Didn't think we're going to find any out here. And then what do you know? And she still got it. He pats the Peregrine on the nose.
I'm gonna go talk to the best pilot of any big bird there's ever been. Bring me that helmswoman.
Up on the bridge, though, as we go to break, swiveling around in their chair, you see a rather pale-looking chief science officer of Raleigh. Says, "Captain," and brings up on sensors, and you see coming up on the tactical display in full pursuit is the Jem'Hadar attack ship. They are currently traveling at warp 9.6, which means they are going to overtake the Pride. You see them barreling. Odds are you're going to get to where you need to go, but not before they catch up.
I think I have a plan.
When we come back, we're going to be on a timed clock because the Pride is not going to have very long before they're overtaken. Stay tuned and we'll see you guys in 10 minutes. Welcome back, everyone. We're going to just go ahead and jump into a quick cut to. We're going to say everyone is assembled back up on the bridge, and the status report right now, as everyone is reassembling on the bridge, is that the Jem'Hadar fast attack vessel that is trailing the USS Pride is going to overtake the ship in the next 10 minutes. So you've got maybe a scene's worth of time to come up with a plan. The moment they catch up with you, there's probably going to be weapons fire at warp, and that's going to pull both ships out of warp, as warp bubbles will fail, and you guys will be back in a fight.
I think Jaren is just going to call Pavi, you remember that impossible maneuver we pulled earlier to get where we were going? What's the likelihood we'll be able to do something like that again?
There's a long pause. And Pavin says, "Captain, you know how I hate telling you no. And you have final say, but I don't even know precisely the effects that the last time we did that has on the ship, or even the local space-time continuum. I'm not entirely sure it would be safe to try it again. Not until we know more."
Okay. Hata, can I get you to... Hata, I need you to get on the
Hata's not
line.
there yet. Y'all are still
that's
traveling.
right.
Yeah. I know.
Shoot.
I'm used to Hata always being there too. That's why I was just like, and then Hata does... Oh, wait, no.
Raleigh, I need you to get on the horn, see what the nearest allied vessel is. We're going to need help, and fast.
Raleigh nods and turns and starts doing some quick scans and uses their comm skill to start searching around to find out if there's anyone out there that can help.
Commander Tavine, if you have any ideas, I could desperately use them. And Taeyon, get close to a console that controls the weapons. We might need to be ready to fight.
We cannot outrun them. We cannot outrun them, Captain. We have to lose them or scare them off. Allies would do that. A game of hide and seek might do that. Not the scaring on that front, but losing them.
Well, Hellsman, how am I looking today? Do I look particularly scary?
If I say yes, will that be the correct answer?
No, but it'd make me feel good.
Then yes, Captain. Quite scary.
All right. When somebody has a solution, get me on the horn. Until then, let's prepare for a hell. See if we might be able to have a conversation. Jem'Hadar, renowned for their civility and being reasonable.
At that point, too, is when the Horta is brought to the bridge, along with your chief tactical officer.
I'd have had some other
security
officers with us.
Just as a quick set to the scene, though, you are still wearing your EVA suit. You just don't have a helmet on. You have not had time to change out of anything. Like, we are still in this. So when you step onto the bridge, this Vorta is behind your chief tactical officer.
I have 3 other security officers escorting us out of.
Okay.
Made sure.
Is this the brave captain that saved us? Captain, thank you. On behalf of the Dominion, you have done us a great service to preserving peace.
You're welcome.
They were in the break with Jen.
How is Jen?
Jin is currently in sickbay, where she is reunited with her sister.
Apparently,
Okay.
something about my flying upset her sister's stomach, but they were reunited at last, sir.
Well, having been a past reviewers before, I think I can sympathize. Yes, I'm Captain Jiren. Your name would be, sir?
Meldas.
Meldas.
Yes.
It's a pleasure to have you on board. I'm getting ready to open.
Captain Sharon Idril, it is a pleasure to meet you.
Oh, you've heard of me. No.
Yes, the Dominion has extensive files on all of the intelligence officers in Starfleet Command. We have you to thank for giving us quite the run for our money, as they say on Earth.
Well, let's see if you can return the favor by telling me any useful information about the vessel that's chasing us. Why did they have you in prison? As far as my understanding goes, the Vorcha and the Jem'Hadar have a rather unique and ironclad relation to each other.
It has been known to happen from time to time when Jem'Hadar don't quite measure up to what they should be. It's a rare circumstance, but it has been known to happen. And I can't begrudge them that. I myself am something of a variant when it comes to the Vorta, one that I bear proudly. But to your question, these Jem'Hadar have a rather admirable dedication to the founder, which the Federation took as a prisoner at the end of the Dominion War. The Treaty of Bajor, I believe, was signed on condition that she, as you would call her, would surrender, and is now rotting somewhere in a Federation prison at an unknown location, precisely where a god does not belong. There are some of us who, as the founders have ordered, returned to Dominion space, as we should have. And there are the occasional dissenters who believe that they could not leave the founder behind. I did my best to get them to see that when the founders ordered us back to Dominion space, that they do as they were told, but they felt that it would be a betrayal of loyalty. And I was in no place to disagree, as at that point, the first overrode my authority, seized the white from me, and threw me into a brig. He didn't kill me outright because apparently he found a use for me.
And their supply of Ketrasil?
You should speak to your new rescued Federation scientist about that.
That is unfortunate.
She was in a desperate position, Captain. And if nothing else, it's admirable that she was able to replicate the white. It's something that we keep under wraps, and she has shown extraordinary talent. In return, they were using her to get something from someone that she knew, apparently. She was not the best cellmate.
Can you tell me where they have stored their Ketrasil? Where on their vessel?
Well, they always keep a ready supply, but they are currently storing a backlog. They have been manufacturing and finding Ketrasil where they can for the better part of, well, 5 years now, I suppose. Maybe longer? The Dominion War, as you call it, ended 7 years ago, I suppose. It's been a very long time for us Vorta, and many of these Jem'Hadar have lived long past their expiration dates. Dying in battle is the preference of a Jem'Hadar, but now they're on their ways to becoming honored elders by simple guerrilla warfare and defiance of authority. A charming way to do it, I suppose.
It's funny what people find themselves capable of under constant oppression.
The Jem'Hadar are not oppressed, they are given purpose, the same as the Vorta.
shit, the Cardassians not the same thing. It's fine. I would very much like to have you here when we open communications with the Jem'Hadar. Hopefully, we can get them to.
Get them to what, Captain? You just stole the only person that they are using to manufacture the white. They will do everything to see her returned, to say nothing of the fact that they are aware I know things they don't want Starfleet to know.
And now you're here, and we've talked.
Yes, which means your negotiation is not going to go well. I don't know if you know this about Jem'Hadar, but negotiation isn't really what they do. That's what I'm here for.
The Jem'Hadar have a dependency on Ketrasil and a penchant for battle. I wonder which is the stronger instinct of the two.
I can answer that for you.
Yes.
Loyalty to the founders is above all. And they believe that what they do is in the interest of the founder that has been taken. They will do everything, things that a Starfleet officer couldn't imagine, if it means getting back the founder. They even betrayed their Vorta. Captain, there will be no talking to the first. He is a singularly driven Jem'Hadar, and rather terrifying, if I might say so. It was remarkable at how quickly he was able to take command and suppress loyalty to me. He convinced the others that what he was doing was in the interest of the founders, that they were the true loyal Jem'Hadar. They are fanatics on a level that I have not yet encountered in my many times of sending Jem'Hadar to their deaths for the founders. These have something interesting. They want to stay alive as long as possible, but if all hope is lost or they feel that their cover is blown as it has been now that you have encountered us, I don't know to what extent they will stop to ensure that no one finds out what they are up to.
And what if their continued course of action were to lead to the death of their founder? Would that be enough to stop them?
You see the look on his face shifts, and he says, I don't feel inclined to even entertain such a terrible idea. I don't know that it would be enough to stop them, Captain, but I assure you that if the founder was executed or harmed in any way, the Dominion would respond.
But it seems to be enough to have given you pause, and pause is all I need. And we're the Federation. We would never do something like that now, would we?
No, of course not. Your preferred tactic is to release biogenic weapons on your enemies.
Yeah.
It's an admirable trait. Don't get me wrong. I know that you all judge yourselves quite harshly for it, but in truth, I applaud you.
You know, it's times like this that I wonder what we could have aspired each other to if we weren't this.
I admit I sometimes have that same thought. It's been a very difficult few years for me.
Helmsman, keep on course, see if there's anywhere we can bob, weave, or hide. Prepare frequency. Let's test your understanding of your Jem'Hadar friends.
Are you sure that it needs testing, Captain? I would feel better if perhaps we didn't test it.
Well, I'd be remiss if I didn't try anything and everything possible to avoid any further bloodshed.
Captain, that is not going to be possible. I'm sorry. I know that disrupts your Starfleet sensibilities, but those Jem'Hadar will kill everyone on the ship if they can.
Good thing they can't. Open frequency.
Frequency's open, Captain. You're on, Captain.
This is Captain Jaren of the USS Pride. Why don't we have a conversation? We've been playing tag all day. I thought maybe we should talk.
There's a beat, and then you hear they're responding, Captain, on screen. Appearing on screen is a Jem'Hadar. You've seen them in all their different variations. This one looks like many of the ones you've seen. He is broad-shouldered and quite large. He has rows of teeth going down, these little spines going down the front of his ridged forehead, and spines going across his face, as well as jutting out from across the jawline. Dark lavender-colored skin, these pale white eyes. It looks like he has his hair has grown somewhat, longer than you see on most Jem'Hadar, which perhaps denote his age further, but you see it kind of bundled back. He has an air about him that does seem a little different from the moment you see him. He almost looks slightly bemused. But he speaks as soon as he appears on screen. He says, I am first Ixkat Ilkat. And this ship and her crew are called the DV Ardent 2575. Join.
Fine name for a fine ship, fine crew. Yes, I am a Bajor.
Starfleet is finally living up to its proclaimed inclusion of all races in the command chair.
It took some doing, but if we're going to fix a thing, we might as well do it from the inside, right?
Agreed.
So, I'm taking it that you want us in pieces, and you can tell that I don't. I would rather stay in one piece. So, what can we do to find a resolution to this problem?
You see him angle his head over at the Vorta. I trust you've spoken with your Vorta captive.
Yes, it was insightful. Apparently, this is a pointless endeavor. What can I say? I'm hopeful that it's not.
The Vorta is wise.
So why is that he felt that his place was in the brig?
Because the Vorta lacks vision. The Vorta is defective.
Yeah. Listen, if I had the kind of relationship with him that you and yours have, I think I'd come to the same conclusion.
You know we are going to catch you.
That I do.
Your aged ship does not stand a chance, though I do feel the need to salute whoever it is that pilots your vessel.
I've got a number of amazing pilots, but I'll be sure to to pass on the compliment. I understand you. I understand the need for battle, the anger, the sticking to an ideal. So, here's how this could play out. And this would be the good end for you. You catch up to us, tear our ship apart. But in doing so, the trap that my officer placed within your ship goes off, and your supply of Ketrasil wanes faster than you can imagine. You will win the battle, but we will win the war. You'll tear us apart. We'll destroy your supply of Ketrasil, and we will leave your ship crawling long enough for the backup that we called to eat you like vultures. Or we go our separate ways. Now, in the instance that you decide that you want to stick with that plan, I should also let you know that it is broadcasted far and wide that you've broken the treaty, and we got your founder. Loss of Ketrasil, a very pissed off Federation and their allies, all with their hands on your founder. Or you can walk away from this. You and I live to fight another day, and we will fight another day. But you'll have reasonable hands at your founder and a bountiful supply of Ketrasil. I think that's a much better deal. What about you?
If you would like to make your command check, you may.
Yes, please.
And it will be an opposed check.
This is a starting. We've started a new scene, I presume.
Yeah, this is a new scene.
Which means we have one momentum at your disposal due to the same.
I will use that, please and thank you.
Absolutely, Captain, my Captain.
Alrighty. That is going to be a total. Oh boy.
And this is assisted by ship's communications command.
No, there's no assist.
Okay. This is 5 successes.
5 successes. Okay. Oh, right. Okay, Captain, 2 things. You've got 2 momentum. You get 2 bonus momentum from that. So 2 things. The threats of Ketrasil and his destruction, you see he is completely unmoved. And he is stone-faced. There is literally no reaction from him on that at all. But the other part that you thought might give him pause is invoking the safety of the founder. That seems to give him some pause. And he doesn't immediately respond. You don't know how well it's gone over. You can definitely spend for obtain information.
I would like to obtain information, please. Like, okay. If I see any crack, anything to keep pushing on to buy us more time, or something that might get him to turn around, that's what I'm looking for.
Okay. You see he's hesitant. What would you like to know? What was your question with obtain information?
I would like to know if pushing on the threat of the founder is aggroing him or causing hesitation. And the second question, well, no, I'll wait till I get the answer to that first, then I'll ask the second one.
So the answer to the first question is the hesitation that he seems to be weighing his options. But you don't see, the one thing you do not see in him is fear. He doesn't seem to be concerned at all about the Ketrasil White or any other ships showing up. As a point of note, you would probably know this, that an actual species trait of the Jem'Hadar is they are completely immune to fear. He doesn't seem to be the idea of self-preservation having anything to do with the factor. This just kind of rolls off his back. You've definitely got his attention with the founder though, and he does seem to be weighing. You get the impression he is tactically crunching whether or not you're bluffing, whether or not you have to imagine that he's probably asking himself, would the Federation do that? Or is all lost? If the treaty has been violated, should I just kill them now?
My second question is, what did I get from his reaction to seeing a Bajorn in the chair? Like, what does he feel about Bajorns?
He seems to be genuinely pleased. Like, there seems to be a genuine respect. as though your impression is that he has a certain opinion about the Federation. And if you didn't know any better by the way he said it, Captain, you and him might share a few things in common.
I think that's when Jared gets up out of his seat and goes, "You've taken the measure of me and I've taken the measure of you, and you're asking yourself, would Starfleet do that? I need you to ask a better question. The Bajorans were a people held under the thumbs of the Kardashians for years, and we refused to be snuffed in the night. Instead, we took what we could, we bit, scraped, and stabbed the heart of those that would oppress us. Do you really think I would stop and let you destroy my ship and not make you suffer for it?" You have my word by the prophets. The words I speak are true.
I do not doubt that they are true, Captain. Suffering does not concern me. We, Jem'Hadar, are dead. We are all dead. We go into battle to reclaim our lives. This we do gladly, for victory is life. And the screen cuts.
Where's our nearest ally?
The Vorta goes, Captain,
Yes.
you may have done more damage than he's leading on. See, I know the first quite well, and that is the first time I've ever seen a man give him hesitation. I think he's bluffing now. Same as you. Don't get me wrong, you were quite convincing, but I'm not as bullheaded as the Jem'Hadar and can see through your ruse. However, I think you may have convinced the fool on that ship. I bet you may have just bought us the time you were looking for.
I think Jared is going to laugh and go, "I don't know that I was." Where's our nearest ally? He is like panicking, but his panicking is just rage.
Yeah. Raleigh glances over at you from the science station and just goes, I'm speaking to someone, Captain, but there's a lot of communications interference.
God.
However, I think whoever they are, I think I got the message through.
Well, Tavine, get ready to dance.
Captain, perhaps we find someplace to hide, lose them. It's a small craft tactic, but it would work for us. Give us that
Cadence?
extra time you're looking for.
Small craft tactics. Could you work alongside Tavine? Find us someplace.
They're going to be on us in
Aye,
about
sir.
4 minutes, Captain.
All right.
Okay.
I'm gonna move up and sit. Not like I'm going to butt into half your seat.
I was gonna say if that is also extremely cute, but I was gonna say I think because Hata's not here, our me and Hata's seats are side by side, so you could.
That feels
sit-
presumptuous.
Okay.
Like I think maybe you catch a pause moving up to the chairs, and Captain probably sees like a micro twitch, like they're thinking of looking back at him and not, and then goes in on
Love
the
it.
scooch.
Love it.
Okay, so we're
Scooch
finally
scooches
breaking out
is-
some astral navigation.
Yep.
Yeah.
Starfleet has extensive data on anomalies, on all manner of star charts for this section of space. You guys are out in the middle of nowhere, but the reason why there's no one out here is because there's no reason to come out here. It's largely been mapped, and there's not a whole lot going on that Starfleet uses. A lot of science vessels have come out here in the past and studied. Go ahead, and I'm going to have you make a roll to find out what exactly might be out here. Now, if you guys have momentum to spend, now is an excellent time to create a trait. Also, it is worth noting that before we continue, if you want the said reinforcements that you guys are calling out for to arrive, that is definitely going to be a momentum spend to call
which
them
means
in.
we're going to have to get that going
Yeah.
for ourselves.
Yeah. You do have some advantages though. The Vorta can function as an information source because he knows their crew complement, how many there are, what their motivations are. He knows everything. So you do have an enormous resource to answer to a lot of the questions you might have if you want to plot a tactic. But for now, I'm going to call for the roll. What's up, Noir? Did you have something?
I was gonna say it's cool if it's no. Could Jaren breaking down what everybody has to do, like Cadence help Tavine find us a place, you do this, you do that, could that function as a rally?
I'm going to say yes, because in a scene as dramatic as this, it would be an amazing thing to see you get up and basically go full President Bartlett on everybody and tell everyone exactly what they need to do and just take command.
I just watched that today, Toby. That's how I beat him.
Fucking love Toby so much. They did that character so dirty. Fucking love Toby. Oh God, the first episode, the way he tears into that woman for calling him a New York Jew, I love the way that character's written. So good. Anyway, sorry. I'm literally ordered a President Bartlett mug. I am a huge fan. All right, sorry.
I remember when the Oval Office was a place of dignity. Anyway.
Sorry. Okay, we West Wing fanned out for a second. So do me a favor. If you want to make a quick check, this would be for you, Caitlin, and I'm going to say, obviously, Cadence can assist Tavine on this, and then whoever wants to roll a check here as well for Pride.
Right.
This will probably be a reason con check.
Oh yeah. Oh totally.
Yeah.
Okay.
Reason con, and then the Pride is gonna also roll. I mean, the Pride's probably gonna roll computers and con.
The 10. Okay.
Yeah.
Should I drop a momentum to try to? Yeah, because we got 3 from the rally. Should I drop a momentum to try to generate? What do we think?
Difficulty's gonna be 2.
Very good.
Reason con good? Okay.
Mhm.
Then I mean, go for it.
Okay, I'm gonna spend one, and I have astronavigation focus. So I assume that we will be able to.
Oh my gosh, we have sibling astronavigation.
I
focus.
know.
That's like, is that our matched focus?
I think it is. That's the one thing that we overlap on.
Oh.
Maybe because when y'all were very small, you were looking through the same telescope together.
I mean, that's literally
And that's how it all started. Yep.
Yeah.
This isn't the first time I scooched in on you.
1000%.
That's cute.
I just got attacked in Star Trek Fleet Command too. I am not having a great start.
Yep.
Unfortunately, my luck with rolling full for rolls has come to an end. I rolled an 11 and I needed a 10.
Oh yeah.
That's okay.
All right.
God
damn it, too. We're beaming our Vulcan officer over to you now. You can have him.
You can have him.
Yeah. Okay. So the difficulty was 2. Go ahead and tell me what you get.
So that's a total of 5 between the siblings.
5 successes. So gain 3 momentum.
I crit and rolled 2 other successes.
There is so much. Again, where you were coming from was a whole lot of nothing. But keep in mind, y'all have been burning stars at warp 9 right now for the past few minutes. So you have long left the system that you guys were in, and you have headed out far, far into deep space. What exactly is it y'all are hoping to find? Was it a nebula specifically?
That was the initial suggestion, but I'm also open to ideas from the.
Yeah, I think if we get a nebula with sufficient rocky formations, we might be able to combine tactics. I could go in for a back knife.
So here's what I'll rule. I'll say that there is going to be a nebula that you can find because there's so many out here. I heard Eddie Izzard's joke in my head of just like it's fucking castles everywhere. It's fucking England. There's castles everywhere. Okay, so if you want a nebula to hide in, I can supply that for you. If you want to make it something specifically different, if you want to make it like a nebula that could specifically like interfere or hide where you guys are at, that might be a trait spin for the kind of nebula you get. Because right now
we momentumed a little.
We did. That was what I was hoping for.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
we have the momentum.
Lord Portico is suggesting a Mutara class nebula, since there's function
That
and
is
shields
the
to be
correct-
useless.
Yeah,
Yep.
that is the one.
Right? Yeah. If we want to,
Very
we can.
classic.
We are at 5 we have 5 momentum now with that top up. So
Okay.
I'm down if the crew is.
Okay.
How
Do you have other
hard do
thoughts?
we want to go though? Because like he's getting like a non-zero threat pool, and I don't want him to just swipe that from us. No, I don't want him to just be like, "Phew," and then part the fog. No, I say we 2-stack it.
I'm into it. Drop us down to 1.
I'm down for
A
that.
severity 2 Mutara class nebula.
Okay, severity 2. Okay. Ivali says, I see what you guys see. Oh, that's good. It's going to be really bumpy. About that moment, your con officers put up on the view screen precisely where it is they're suggesting the Pride divert to. There is a Mutara Class 2 nebula not far from where you are right now. It is going to be probably a single round of combat to get into that nebula, because you're going to have to come out of warp, which they will come out of warp, and then it's a dash to the nebula perimeter.
I just
Sensor
want to
Jock, how dare you? It's not going to be bumpy. This is the best pilot in Starfleet.
That's not how nebulas work, but never mind.
I just want to make sure that we send a communique to Ha to let her know, like, we're still on the way. We just didn't want to bring any heat your way, so sit tight.
Okay, you guys send a low-level message kind of under the radar. You divert the Pride, and you guys start coming out of warp. A few moments later, you see the starfield just as the Pride just jumps into the middle of nowhere. No nearby systems or planets, but there is a great big, beautiful yellow, purple, gold, and dark red nebula in front
Veering towards it immediately.
and roughly about 2 light years in size, and is an extraordinary sight to see. The moment you guys come out of warp, you're near the nebula perimeter, the boundary, when obviously the ship sensors start immediately alerting you all that you have encountered an anomaly. Starfleet does have this classified, this nebula, is it's just like a row of numbers coming off. As soon as you guys come out of warp, you have a few mere moments to prep and go to red alert again. And as soon as you do, emerging for warp, you see coming up on sensors, particularly you, tactical officer, to Aeon, as you guys come out of warp, the tactical station immediately detects jumping out of warp to stern at 180 Mark 45. Or actually, this would be Mark 80. This would be, they're currently at 180 Mark 177. The Jim'Hadar attack ship exits warp right behind you, and we are now going straight into combat. You guys are going to have the first action, though, because you were first. You can make a mad dash for the nebula.
Can I get there on impulse is still relatively
Yep, you can get
fast.
there.
I can get there with the basically offhand. What's it called? Minor action.
You can move long range.
And then
Major.
and then
if you need more, we can buy you more.
Then I'm gonna major action evasive maneuvers just in case. Like, I don't want to have us without. Yeah, I want a major action evasive maneuvers if I can minor action to get us into there.
Sure.
The additional minor is a 1 cost, right?
Mine is 1 cost majors.
Yeah, so that is kind of it. Just so you know, that's kind of an artifact of the previous edition. I don't know that that's actually a thing in current edition, but I liked it. So, like, an additional minor action, I allow you to take an additional minor action for a single point of momentum as opposed to 2, and you can do it once. Is it in second edition?
Yeah, I
Yeah,
built
it
my
is
character around it as well.
260, it looks like. During
Yeah.
your action, you can spend 1 momentum, take an additional minor action. That could get us a second long into the nebula if we
Ooh.
want to
Yeah,
spend all
basically
the way
you
down. But then
as
we'd
soon
spend
as
all
you
the way
get out
down.
of warp, you just kick in full impulse.
Yeah. Well, it might be worth it.
It might be worth it.
Like, yeah, to like get as much
Because
distance.
they are dramatically faster than the Pride.
Yes, yeah.
So,
We have 1 momentum left. I'm a big fan of that.
okay.
Okay.
So you kick it
Then-
in. As soon as you guys get out of warp, you burn your helm actions. You burn 1 minor action to engage impulse, which allows you to move up to 2 zones anywhere within long range. And then you use an additional impulse action by burning that momentum to basically put you guys in the nebula. As soon as you get out of warp and you beeline for that nebula, they start closing in. Their weapons go hot. You detect them, to Aeon, as all of their weapons come online. Their shields go up. And then you start seeing static start playing across your display. A few moments later, the Pride's shields drop, and you all hear this sound outside the ship. It sounds a little bit like a kind of a haunting moaning sound. And then the ship just lurches forward, causing everyone to grab hold of their stations as the ship rattles dramatically. And the lights flicker and go off for a second on the bridge. Emergency lights immediately activate, casting the bridge in sort of a shadowy atmosphere. The static discharges and all of the effects of the nebula going off basically bring all the shields down. Sensors go dead. And you're inside the Mutara Nebula. On screen, you just see static playing across the screen with an occasional glimpse of the beautiful colors of the nebula, and then it's back to static. You have no idea where the Jem'Hadar ship is or where you are in relation to anything right now. Just that you're inside the nebula. Oh, you're muted, Noir.
We're gonna maintain the initiative, right, guys?
If you've got an idea, go for it.
I do. I am going to use call to action to give Taeon a minor action. I am going to use the direct major action to direct Taveen to maneuver. How much momentum do we have?
We're out.
No, because you're gonna maneuver. Like right now.
Oh,
That
right
is,
now? Okay.
yeah,
Okay.
that's maneuvering is your rally.
I see. Okay.
And I was hoping we could color it as you like flying the ship and trying to break
Getting out of direct line.
line of sight manually.
Oh, that's easy enough to do, yeah.
Yeah, so that's what your maneuver is going to do, and it's also going to get us back momentum.
Mhm.
And I'm hoping that you can at least get us 2 momentum back, so that I can spend it for an extra major action to rally.
Oh my gosh. Okay.
All right.
Let's see. Okay.
Difficulty is 0. Control con, and whoever wants to roll for the ship, it's engines con.
My luck ended. I can't risk it
Redeem
again.
yourself.
Redeem myself. I'll roll
Well-
if you really want me to.
I believe in you. Roll
Yes,
pride.
yes, roll pride.
Okay. Roll pride. No.
Ah.
No.
Well, I crit, so I have 2 exactly.
Okay.
I would like to spend that 2 to get an extra major action where I will use rally. It is just all right, everybody, sit tight. We've prepared for this. This is what we go to Academy for. So don't worry. We've got backup on the way. We just need to stall. And here we go. Yeah, I'm rolling under 16. That'll be 3 momentum that I got us. I rolled an 8 and a 1.
Okay.
So how much do we spend for our Hail Mary to get our backup in play?
Now we have three to spend. Do we want to create a trait about it?
I think we have to. I think we should pay for the ally to show up.
We
right?
have to spend for the ally. Yeah. So that's why
Okay.
I'm asking how much does that cost?
Oh yeah.
Uh,
Yes, Sam.
Yes, yeah.
Nor, do you have something that negates the swift action cost? Because rally is at a DC 1 otherwise, and then we have 2 momentum in the pool.
It's true.
A DC
When you take a
Mhm.
secondary major action, they increase the difficulty by 1.
Yeah,
no matter
anytime you
what
take
it
a second action, it
Gotcha.
increases the difficulty by 1.
So we
Gotcha,
should
gotcha.
be on
we
net
have 2.
2, which still gives us a trait amount
Mhm.
to work with if we want. I don't know what the cost for the buy-in on the ally was.
Is the ally a trait? Is that kind of like, is it the 2?
Yeah, I would treat it like
Actually,
you're creating a trait, essentially, reinforcements.
Yep.
Keeping in mind, too, just so the audience knows, because it's been established that there is no Federation starship within 2 weeks
Yes.
of where you guys are. Doesn't necessarily mean y'all are without allies. We're at a period in history where the Romulan Star Empire and the Klingons are all working together with the Federation. So who knows?
We had someone, if Raleigh had someone on comms, and I think we should make it legit.
Yeah.
Holly was
let's
talking
do
to
it.
somebody.
To somebody. Yep.
Yeah.
I say we
okay.
spin the trade about it. Let's
Yeah.
Aye, sir.
yeah, we're
Now we
spinning the
hide.
trade. Incoming reinforcements.
Okay. And you all sit
Yep, that is our turn.
in total silence.
Yep. And Taeyeon, you have that aim set up, so
Yeah. Oh boy.
Sir, it's all the same to you. I would feel much more comfortable sitting in a very small, cramped vessel.
do you really think now's the best time to scramble?
I want to be ready for you if you need me, sir.
Do it.
Aye, sir.
Could I be?
I just like
assistance?
tap tap.
Yeah, I was like, you get an elbow bump before.
Yeah.
Before you go.
Yes. I'm looking at the fortune.
If it was a Vorta, may I be of some assistance?
Yeah, I was just thinking that. I was like, not Mass Effect, not Mass Effect.
Oh, Jesus Christ!
Oh, I thought we had a battle cruiser inside our bridge, like a Vorta class.
And it's so funny because the Vorta are a race in Mass Effect, but they're a whole fucking battleship in Star Trek. The Vorta says, I can tell you exactly what the first is going to do.
Love to hear it.
The first will likely be aware that you probably called for help and that you can't stay in this nebula forever. Therefore, the most likely course of action is he'll probably submerge his vessel into just the perimeter of the nebula and power down his vessel so he cannot be detected, and then wait for you to emerge. If your allies show up, there will be no one here because you will not be out to greet them and he won't be detectable. They'll simply leave and eventually you'll emerge, in which case he will jump on your back and tear you apart. That's what I would do. I'm certain that the first will think in the same manner, since he is not going to do anything to let you go. Certainly not while I'm still on board. Perhaps the next best thing to do then would be to tell you everything so the damage will be done.
I think I could agree to that.
I have one condition.
Love those. Let's hear.
He gets really serious. And he says, I would love a bowl of Rotamba stew. It's a Bajoran dish.
Oh, never heard of it. You're just in luck. We are doing some renovations on our galley.
Captain, you have made me very happy in a very dire time. Perhaps then we could discuss information over dinner, since we are going to be sitting here for a while.
Yeah, I don't know that we'll be here as long as you might think. Has Cadence left already, or did Cadence hear what our friend just said?
I think Cadence would have heard, perhaps and then the door closed on the turbo lift, because this was kind of said to you after
Gotcha.
it had been said, yeah.
I think I'm going to calm Cadence and explain the info we just got.
2 light year diameter, wasn't it, on the nebula?
Yeah, it's quite large.
That is
Like-
not a tactically navigable circumference, sir. I've been on missions tried to cover the exit to a nebula. There were a lot of us, and it was a pain in the ass then.
The Vorda immediately speaks up and says, "I'm sorry, but your brilliant pilot is thinking quite two-dimensionally. The Jem'Hadar don't need to attack you as soon as you emerge from the nebula. They simply need to catch you again. Wherever you go, the chase will be on. Unless you try to bunny hop across nebulas throughout the galaxy, eventually they will catch you, Captain."
Sir, you can warp on any vector and they wouldn't see you leave from within a nebula.
They're counting on our friends not seeing us. We don't have to be in the house to leave the light on.
Aye, sir.
I hope you're not thinking about challenging the sophistication of Dominion sensors.
Quite the opposite, in fact. If they are looking to see us keep the lights off, then let's turn on several lights. We do have drones, if I'm not mistaken. Let's give them some. Let's give them a show.
All right.
We are going to deploy drones.
Which drones?
Probes, probably.
Probes is what I meant.
Yeah.
Probes.
You're going to pull a master and commander?
Yeah, essentially, it's just like they're counting on us being so afraid that we keep our lights off. So when our friends come, oh, nobody's here, let's leave. If we have a bunch of things like, hey, there is something here, then that strategy falls on its face.
Okay. It's so practical and so simple. But essentially, leaving out flashing lights inside of a nebula, there's a chance they may not detect that as evidence that a ship is in a nebula. However, there's also a solid chance that they will, particularly if they're set on a very specific timer, like flashing in sync with like prime numbers, for example, would be an indication that is definitely not a naturally occurring phenomenon in the nebula. Okay, that's a pretty smart move. When you reach the hangar deck, you see that the peregrines are already up on their landing struts and have been turned to face the hangar doors again, ready for launch. But you see the ensigns are still scrambling around and having conversations with each other and just doing quick diagnostic checks.
Chief, how bad are the ones that were in the air?
Oh, no, everybody's fine, but you're not going to like this. And he flips over the data pad and shows you a schematic of your peregrine, and you see notably missing is Peaches.
Yeah, I know.
Does Peaches know to stick around until we can swing by and pick them up again?
We can skim some of the protocols in the other ones, see what default behaviors are built in, but Peaches did get a bit of an upgrade, so I don't know exactly what kind of reasoning systems might be at play. I think I watched a movie like that once.
Well, I'd be interested to see how they handle. That's an interesting thought. Now,
What?
well, Peaches has got problem-solving capabilities now, right?
Yeah. You're about to compare our reasoning to... No, yep, go ahead.
No, I was just going to say, everyone just jumped away in the middle of a chase.
Yeah.
And Peaches is probably going to find themselves with a whole freighter all to themselves. I've got to imagine, what's that little guy going to get up to? A little problem solver.
I would like to spin the aux point to activate Peaches now, please.
I think you mean Captain Peaches?
Cut 2. Roll me a d12, please.
1.
9.
This one is from Lord Portico. Your lordship, we thank you for that Ox Crew point as you activate Captain Peaches. Cut to back in the quiet of space on the edges of nowhere inside this system that has long been left behind. Peaches indeed is drifting into the open airlock and is sealing it behind them and then pivoting around and then overriding the lock on the other door and entering into the interior of this old freighter. The door closes and Peaches, a little bit large and awkward to be moving through this corridor, kind of turns a little bit sideways and just hovers all the way down and heads down to the engineering section. Peaches hovers there and runs a quick scan on what looks like a console and interfaces with the computer. And a few moments later, just starts moving up to the front of the ship, just through the corridors and around, past a few family portraits of the sisters holding each other, past a few really nasty food areas that haven't been cleaned up in a while, making their way all the way up to the deck, the flight deck of the ship, and moving over and starting to interface with the computer. And propulsion systems come up online. You see all of this starting to activate a little bit. Peaches then does a quick scan to see if they can detect the direction and the heading of the pursuing vessels, and discovers, unfortunately, that the scanners on this ship are not quite sophisticated for long-range scans. However, Peaches does find that our little smuggler was lying her fucking ass off when she was giving out ship schematics and hiding a few secrets about her little frigate. Peaches starts scanning through the star charts to find the nearest space to set in for dock, or any nearby Federation outposts or anything. And of course, gets the same feedback that you all had that Peaches didn't have, which is the nearest Federation presence is at least 2 weeks at maximum warp. However, Peaches does find something that's out here that's not near the Federation, and hones in on it. And Hales begins to send out a transmission. And a few moments pass between an acknowledgement Hale answers. Peaches inputs a Starfleet distress code, a universal Starfleet distress code, and waits. And there's a long pause. And then popping up on screen is a Romulan commander who looks somewhat confused and a little concerned and says, "This is the Imperius. Who am I speaking to?" Peaches immediately, "Hello, I am Captain Peaches. I require your assistance." The USS Pride, and begins to go into the entire scenario of explaining the presence of a Jem'Hadar warship, that you have all fled on this bearing and mark, and what has taken place as the Romulan listens intently. And that is where we are going to end tonight's game.
This is the only off point spend that has ever mattered.
Listen, I don't often ask for fan art, but if we don't get Peaches in a captain's hat, I don't know what we're doing here anymore.
We gotta paint the pips on. We gotta get
The Smuggler's Freighter did indeed have a couple of secrets there that are that I had specifically marked down as a trait, that they were. A woman of her skill is not going to just be outed by a Federation scan. Yeah, he's got all manner of illegal shit on here, including long-range communication devices and much faster warp core than she told you guys about. So Peaches knows all of her secrets now, though, because she gained full access. All right. Well, this was probably the most action-packed Star Trek Adventures session I have perhaps ever run. From the start of this episode, and it's also worth noting too. And I'm going to, if you would please, when you make your character logs, just note this aside, because this is going to be notable when we are doing XP at the end of this mission. You guys did not fire a single shot in that battle. Instead, you adhered to the mission. You kept your eye on the ball. You did not engage the Jem'Hadar. And my most favorite thing that you did, which was probably the most important, most game-changing, most vital thing that you did, you alerted the Federation before you engaged. So that they knew what was up, what was going on, who was out here. Literally changing the course of the entire campaign. If y'all had not done that, if y'all were out here facing this on your own, this would have been a Khan versus Kirk situation where there was no one coming to help you. That there was no way out of this. And if you guys had died out here, no one would have ever known what had happened. And that would have been that. So there is a lot working, but you are not out of the woods yet. Now, you did activate reinforcements, and then you spent an aux point, and we're having Peaches be the thing that is going to drive home your reinforcements. There may or may not be a Romulan ship on the way.
Let's go.
So we will find out next Monday night. We hope you will join us. Thank you so much, Aux Crew, for not only supporting us, but for giving us some wonderful moments in the game, and for always supporting the StreamPunks through all of the stories we've told in the Star Trek universe. We will see you next Monday night for the next episode. Until then, friends, hailing frequencies are closed.